All right, welcome to the next part in this short tutorial on creating a simple app with Agent Cloud. So we should have already done our models and our data sources in previous tutorials. If you haven't, go back and check those out. But now we're going to be working on agents. So this agent will then combine the data source and be able to give you an output. So let's take a look at what the setup is. Let's hit new agent at the top right. We can give an avatar, give it a photo, but for now we'll leave that. We can give it a name. So for our name, we'll tell it's a sales analyst. Okay, now this role, goal, and backstory are crucial in that you get the wording right and define them correctly. These are what are fed into the LLM to then be able to have it draw upon this information to know what it does, to know its guide, and to know what its final output should be. So for our role here, we're going to say this is a sales expert able to analyze, process, and interpret sales data. Now this role is, you can think of it as a job title. We can see here it defines their function within the crew. The crew is when there are multiple agents, but for now we're just working with one. Determines the kind of tasks the agent is best suited for. So think of this as a job title. Next, we'll move on to our goal. Now the goal is, as it says here, the individual objective they aim to achieve, and it guides their decision-making process. So think of this as what the end output should look like. So what should the end output look like? Well, it's to provide useful sales insights. Okay, last one, backstory. Now the backstory, if the role is their job title, then the backstory is a detailed job description. Now you can make it very detailed or you can make it a little bit detailed. But if you're not getting any output that you're expecting, for example, an agent is doing something wrong or they're analyzing the data in an incorrect way, then the backstory is generally the best place to start. For here, this one's pretty straightforward. So you're a sales expert with a lifetime of experience and you leverage sales data to provide insights on every aspect of sales. You can also add more specific things in there, like also an expert at answering user or client questions on the given sales data. But for now, we're just going to keep it as it was before. Now this backstory can make it more specific or more generic. Generally, if you make it more generic, you're going to get more almost randomized answers. They won't be as consistent. And the more specific you make it, the less freedom the LLM will have to work. So generally you want to find a middle ground between freedom and detailed backstories, in that you don't want it to be too constrained, but you also don't want it to be too free, so you get a consistent reply. Now, let's move on to the model. Now, this should be the agent model that we created, GPT-4o. And lastly, the data sources. We're going to put in the sales data. This is the data that you want the agent to have access to. Now, say we're in a multi-agent system. We have a sales agent and a marketing agent. We would give the sales agent the sales data and the marketing agent the marketing data. When this is tied to the agent, no other agent will access it within the crew, and this won't access any other agent's data within the crew. All right, so let's hit save, and that'll be that. We'll now move on to apps.